Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. And these were some of the end times signs and prophecies that Yahawashi, the Son of the Most High, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus, told his disciples to look for, to know that they were living in the last days, to know that his second coming was nigh, and to know that the kingdom of heaven was at hand. And even though Yahawashi spoke to his disciples in the past concerning these things, he was really talking to his disciples today who are living in these times. Because contrary to popular belief, we truly are living in the last days, really the last seconds of the last days before Yahawashi's second coming, the end of this current age of the rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly by the biblical Edomites or the so-called white people, and the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven under the true children of Israel, who are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. And if you have that spiritual eye salve, you can clearly see that these end time signs and prophecies are either in the process of taking place or taking place as we speak. For nation shall rise against nation, racial tensions out here, racial skirmishes, race wars, which, especially in the United States of America, you can see that pot of racial tension is about to boil over, and kingdom against kingdom. These major nations out here, Russia against the U.S. and the West, China against Taiwan, Russia against Ukraine, Israel against Iran, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And the video I did yesterday documented one of those earthquakes in diverse places, that major earthquake that just took place in Turkey and Syria, which last I checked, the death toll was at 19,000. And like I said in that last video, expect many more calamitous events like that to take place, since we're living in the last days, the last seconds of the last days, when Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi is going to bring great judgment on this planet to judge the people on it for the wickedness they've been committing and the great pride they've been walking in. But in this video, I'll be dealing with the pestilences, because besides the famines, the race wars, martial law, and world wars, there will be many more pestilences out here, whether naturally occurring or engineered, as we'll put it, that's going to be killing off a lot of people. This is an article from dailymail.co.uk titled, "The World Health Organization warns we must prepare for potential bird flu pestilence as H5N1 avian strain jumps to mammals." And over the last year or so, what have you been hearing about? The bird flu going around, killing off a lot of chickens and wild birds, turkeys, and other birds that a lot of people eat, and that a lot of these farms produce. Which, what is that going to play into? The famines which are going to take place. Everything that Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi is bringing on this planet is going to work in a perfect circle of judgment and destruction for you wicked people. And now, as will Salakia, what was it? What's this? And now, as we're about to read in this article, the WHO is warning that there's a chance that the bird pestilence can jump onto humans and cause a whole other situation out here. The WHO says strain H5N1 has reportedly jumped to mammals. Cases have been reported in mink, otters, and sea lions, the agency said. The WHO has warned the world must prepare for a potential human bird flu pestilence after the strain jumped from birds to mammals. Cases of the strain H5N1 have already been reported in otters, mink, and foxes, sparking fears the virus is one step closer to sweeping into humans. During a vital briefing today, the WHO's Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus urged nations to monitor infections in mammals up closely. He said the risk of the pestilence jumping to humans was still low, but we cannot assume that will remain the case, and we must prepare for any change in the status quo. It comes after the UK reported that its biggest ever avian influenza outbreak had spilled over to mammals. There was also an outbreak among mink in northwest Spain reported last month. H5N1 has previously been detected in people, but cases have been sporadic and closely linked to close contact with infected dead or live birds. The pestilence does not infect humans easily or other mammals, but reports of infections in mammals have raised concerns that the pathogen could gain mutations that make it easier for the virus to jump to humans, helping it to clear the biggest hurdle that has stopped it from sweeping the world. And hey, we're living in the times like never before, as it says in Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. Let's go to it. This is Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. The he that shall be saved out of it being the elect of the nation of Israel. But as it says, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. The terrible times of Jacob's trouble we're coming into is going to be like any other time in human history. It's going to be the worst judgment and calamities this planet has ever faced. And many things people would have never expected to happen is going to take place. The unbelievable will easily become the believable. And we're definitely going to need Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai in these times to get us through these calamities. I'm going to go to Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. The header reads, the time of the end, which we're clearly living in. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth up for the children of thy people. These times are going to get so bad that the archangel Michael is going to have to step in to protect the elect of the nation of Israel from these calamities of Jacob's trouble. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. Worse than the days of Noah, worse than 70 AD, the transatlantic slave trade, World War I, World War II, anything you could possibly imagine. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Again, that being the elect of the nation of Israel, who right now are diligently doing whatever they can to come back to their power, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and stay in their good graces so they can hope to have that protective hedge over them and be saved from these calamities of Jacob's trouble. So don't be surprised when pestilences like this, or pestilences people never even heard about before, just start taking out people in mass numbers, along with the earthquakes, the famines, martial law, world war, which will go nuclear, beasts newly created, as it says in the Apocrypha, etc., etc. But reports of infections in mammals have raised concerns that the pathogen could gain mutations that make it easier for the situation to jump to humans, helping it to clear the biggest hurdle that has stopped it from sweeping the world. Leading experts previously warned that the spread of the bird pestilence poses a global risk until it is brought under control. The U.S. has faced a major outbreak of bird flu this year, with more than 58 million poultry affected across nearly every state in the country and 6,100 in wild birds, approaching record levels for the country. 7 of the UK's animal avian pestilence cases detected were in 2022, including 1 fox in Cheshire and 2 in Cornwall, as well as 1 otter in each of the Shetland and Isle of Skye, and 2 in Fife. Dr. Brown said it was difficult to control the disease in wild birds, but what we can do is effectively control the disease in poultry. Experts have warned that outbreaks among mink could lead to a recombination event when 2 pestilences switch genetic material to make a new hybrid. A similar process is thought to have caused the global 2009 swine pestilence crisis that infected millions across the planet. The same biological phenomena was also seen during the C19 pestilence, another one of these pestilences to take place in these last seconds of the last days, such as the so-called Deltacron, a recombination of the Del-Ta and the Omarion, first detected in France last February. For decades, scientists have warned that the bird pestilence is the most likely contender for triggering the next pestilence. And besides this, you've had these other so-called experts out here in this field, such as Bill Gates and these different organizations running drills like the SEERS or the SEERS drill and other things like that, saying that since we saw how lax we were with dealing with the C19, we need to be ready for the next pestilence. Not we need to be prepared in case it happens, but we need to be prepared when it happens. So expect many more pestilences of judgment to take place in these last days, whether naturally occurring or engineered, which is going to bring me to my next clip on the brother Amawan Gabar's YouTube page, the brother up in New York, GMS Awakening 144, Ha Amawan Gabar, titled Something is Coming in 2023, a forewarning. The next disaster is inevitably coming. And 2023 has been named by Apostle Tahar to be the hopeful year that all prophecies are fulfilled. And hey, this could very well be the year that all prophecies are fulfilled and Yahushua makes his second coming and the elect receive salvation. But whether it is or not, seeing all these end time signs take place and continue to take place at an exponential rate just goes to show us that our salvation is much nearer than when we believed. And real quick, this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes. And just a little bit of speculation here. You're hearing talks about the bird pestilence jumping to humans. There were talks about the Curious George or the monkey POX a couple of months ago. New strains of the C19 or even new mystery pestilences taking place out here. And again, you have these higher ups, these so-called experts, saying to expect the next pestilence. Well, what if the drinks that people have been taking due to the big party that started back in 2022, what if those drinks they've been taking, 1 sip, 2 sip, plus 2 other additional sips cause people to start passing out suddenly, and then they blame it on these different pestilences they're throwing in the news because we can't put anything past this devil. Hey, as it says in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12, the devil, that deceiver, Esau, Edom, more specifically the elites or the elites such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Massimos, the the Cargiles, the Carnegies, etc., know that they have but a short time, so they're about to come down in great wrath to establish their NW0, their GREATRESET, that fourth industrial revolution. They see the writing on the wall that the nation of Israel is waking back up and calling back on their power, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and they see that the prophets of the Lord, the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, as well as the brothers that come in the spirit of Great Millstone, are out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, and they understand the scriptures to know that when these things happen, that whatever heathen kingdom's ruling at the time is going to come to an end. And they know that they're the biblical Edomites and what their fate is after they're taken out of power. 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery before they're permanently culled from this planet with fire. Read Obadiah chapter 1, verse 18. So they're about to pull out all the stops and bring about many calamities to get the people scared and desperate out here so they can accept whatever they're pushing to them as the solution, order ab chaos, order out of chaos. And the main thing is going to be to get you people to accept the charagma, the MARKOFTHEBEAST in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 to 18, which is the RFID/NFC MICROCHIPIMPLANT. And this could be one of the major ways to push for it. A bunch of people start passing out suddenly due to the bird pestilence or a new variant of the C01 to the 9 or any other thing they push out here, though it really goes back to people getting drunk. And they'll say, look, we saw what happened with the first situation back in 2020 to 2021, and look at how much worse this situation's been. Now we need to know for certain that you've gotten your drinks. So get a BIOMETRIC DIGITALPASSPORT in you, so we know that you've got your drinks. They're already doing it in Sweden with the C19. It's just some food for thought. But let's I'm gonna play about the first 3 minutes or so of this clip. And the caption reads, NYC employee shot mandate to be lifted, drink mandate to get into the club. Drink mandates will no longer be applicable. As such, if you are a school-based employee who has been working remotely, you will be expected to return to work in person unless you are on an approved leave. Non-school-based employees should already be reporting in person. Please be prepared to report to your school beginning on Monday, February 13th, 2023, which is this Monday. And I would highly recommend you sincere Akim and Aqua to go watch this video and subscribe to this brother's page and be edified. But as the brother is going to go into in this video, hey, what if the reason they're lifting these drink mandates is because they've got enough people to take their drinks and a few other drinks after that? So all they need to do is hit the switch for the unos, dos, tres. I ain't even gonna attempt it. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that affects that gives people a stomach ache with the drinks that they've had in them, and they start passing out suddenly. And again, like I just said, they can blame it on any of these other things they're pushing out here and say, look, we need to know for certain that you've had your drinks. A little paper card or an app on your phone's not going to work. You're going to need something physically in you.
I was watching. Yo, bro, I was watching Married with Children, and this is the first commercial that comes on.
The next disaster is coming. The time to get ready is now.
What?
The next disaster is coming. The WHO warns we must prepare for a potential bird pestilence as H5N1 avian strain jumps to mammals. Bill Gates, well, I already said it, is warning that the second pestilence is really going to catch people's attentions. And then the powers that be are running drills like the SEERS to prepare governments on how to handle the next pestilence out here.
Make a plan. Identify meetup locations and people you'll need to contact. Put your contact list in your wallet,
What?
on your phone, and somewhere visible
This
in your
is
home.
mad random.
Build a kit. Store enough food and water for 3 days. Don't forget your pets. And consider buying a pre-made kit. Keep at least 7 days of medication on hand.
What?
Work with your pharmacist and insurance company to secure the extra doses. Make copies of important documents. Keep them
Yo,
on your phone.
they
in
basically
the cloud,
giving you the
or on
plan.
USB stick.
Yo, bro, I was watching.
Hey, the devil is about to come down in great wrath because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. But remember, at the end of the day, everything is through the will and controlled by the Most High. As it says in Isaiah 55 verse 11, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. And it's prophesied in the scriptures for pestilences and plagues to be a major judgment that Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is going to use to take people off this planet for their wickedness and great pride. But now I'm going to close it out. In 2nd Esdras chapter 16 in the Apocrypha, verses 17 to 19, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Hey, if the Most High has blessed you to understand the breakdowns of these scriptures from the prophets, hey, do whatever you can right now to stay in the good graces of your power, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, so you can hope to have that protective hedge over you and be saved from these calamities which are all coming. And hey, this links up back in Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. And when you read back in verse 8, it says, but all these are the beginning of sorrows. We're just in the beginning stages of this great death, destruction, and judgment that Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai is bringing on this planet. Like I said in my video yesterday dealing with that earthquake in Turkey and Syria, that's just an appetizer for what's to come. Expect many more mass casualty events. Verse 19, behold, famine and plague, pestilences, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, scourges for correction, scourges for judgment, scourges for punishment, point blank, period. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. As we can clearly see, we're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the biblical Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.